I always forget if Disneyland and DisneyWorld, which is which.
Do they both have the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge thing? Anybody who's gone, it's just an absolute horror story, like complete nightmare of just the worst possible thing. You're just trapped in there forever. And then, but even with that, then they'd be like, well, Galaxy's Edge was pretty cool. Like, it's like the worst situation. We're like, that was pretty good. All right. Welcome to This Week in Nerd History, the podcast where we talk about all the fun, dumb, nerdy stuff from the past, present, and future. I'm Mike. Joining me, as always, we got AJ and Sal. How are you guys doing?
Great.
I extended that one out a little bit to emphasize it for some reason. What are we talking about today? We're going to talk about Disney World, for sure. Definitely going to talk about that.
Yeah, for no reason.
Let's see. We've got a bunch of like random stuff. I'm going to talk about the 20-year anniversary of Leroy Jenkins, which is an internet classic.
Phenomenon.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if it's also the anniversary for Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. But I feel like, I don't know. It's been around for, I don't know what, like, special...
Like, how are we going to...
Yeah.
It's Star Wars.
It's like, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
We should talk a little bit about Star Wars.
People got mad that we didn't mention May the 4th when it happened.
Oh, I know. I never freaking remember.
And I was like, eh.
Yeah.
It's so corporate and phony. Like, I hate May the 4th because it's like, it's just a bad pronunciation like of May the 4th. Like, it's just, it's not even like it means anything. You know, like A New Hope came out on the 21st or 25th. Like, it's
I don't know. But it's
like
also
July 6th Park.
30th anniversary of Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is amazing. I would love to talk about that forever.
Same.
Hey, it's me on screen. I'm doing an ad read. Look at that. This episode is brought to you by NordVPN. If you're like me, you love surfing the web and rollerblading the GeoCities sites. Anyway, you want to stay safe. The NordVPN threat protection feature protects you from viruses, malicious malware, and phishing sites. NordVPN also protects your private data like bank details, passwords, and your online identity. Not to mention it's the fastest VPN in the world and stops your ISP from bandwidth throttling. So no buffering or lagging while you stream. NordVPN is easy to use and has over 7,600 servers in 118 countries, so you can change your virtual location with just a click. And one account can be shared on up to 10 devices, so be sure to download the app to your phone for data protection everywhere you go. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/dorkly and you'll get 4 extra months on the 2-year plan. Plus, there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks again to NordVPN, and let's get back to the podcast where AJ is going to be freestyle rapping for the next 45 minutes. That seems like a long time. I'm going to show you guys. I stumbled on it the other day.
Gee, we ought to do something, Fred. Okay. How's about taking a nap? Hey, I got a better idea. Let's take a Winston break. That's it. Winston is the one filter cigarette that delivers flavor 20 times a pack. Winston's got that filter blend. Yeah, Fred. Filter blend makes the big taste difference, and only Winston has it up front where it counts. Here, ahead of the pure white filters, Winston packs rich tobaccos specially selected and specially processed for good flavor in filter smoking. Yeah, buddy, Winston tastes good like a cigarette. Sure.
I can imagine people jumping to the conclusion like this is why people think that they advertised cigarettes to children. But I could think of no worse delivery system than the Flintstones.
I know.
Since no child I know, or would watch a single moment of that cartoon show.
No.
Like, they were definitely advertising to the adults who were just like, I miss the honeymooners, and I guess this is it. So, and it's a miracle. Like, look at those drawn characters moving around and talking. Like, this is a marvel of human engineering, also known as, animation. And I'm here for it. And also, maybe I could go for a Winston right now.
There's so many that I cut out some of the beginning part of it because it's a long ass commercial. But the whole thing was like the wives are doing all the yard work and stuff. And they went to the back of the house because they didn't want to look at them doing the yard work anymore.
Oh my God.
And to kill time, they just started smoking cigarettes. But also, too, just how big the cigarettes are. They're
huge
in their hands.
Are there any other examples? Like, can you imagine Like Garfield.
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff would have showed for cigarettes.
yeah.
Between the
He
two of them,
would've,
Heathcliff
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
Because, again, no child I knew was watching Heathcliff.
No, I know exactly. They watched.
No one's
They watched a
watching
minute 30.
Heathcliff.
They watched the theme, and they went.
Heathcliff
click.
comes on, and you're like, what the? No, I'm out of here.
But we're not here to talk about Garfield. We're here to talk about that Flintstones ad and how sickeningly terrible it is.
I forget all the times that it was like a primetime show, basically.
Right.
And the laugh track. And
Death.
but the thing that's always like confusing to me is the audience for the Flintstones because of the Flintstones vitamins.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Kids Chewable Vitamin. I'm like, all right, well who?
Also, like,
what is
why are
this
they?
show?
They're
then?
still selling Flintstones vitamins.
Yeah.
And
Is
cereal. where
anyone
it's like-
watching the Flintstones?
No.
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 Children for 20 years or more. At least
Are
20
like,
years.
what is this?
Think that the Flintstones are mascots.
Who are these?
Yeah,
Literally,
right.
my children, when I gave them Flintstones vitamins, are like, "Who are these? What are?"
Who is this doctor?
And we showed them old Flintstones commercials for the vitamins, and they said,
Okay.
"For kids who don't eat good." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's you guys.
Oh, that's you guys.
That's
Yeah,
you."
Hey, listen to Fred over here. He's telling you what's what.
I wonder how much like licensing or money or whatever the Flintstones people make from. I mean, they've got to make more from
vitamins and
from the
fruity
vitamins and
pebbles.
stuff.
And Fruity
right?
Pebbles, yeah.
than the actual cartoons because
Yeah.
those
Well-
aren't play anywhere. There's no, as far as I know, merchandise.
Where
I
do you
don't know.
find them?
And they don't get cigarette endorsements anymore.
Yeah, I wonder
They moved
why.
on to fentanyl.
How dare they?
Hey, Fred, what are you doing? I'm smoking crack cocaine, Barney.
Leave me alone.
Or I'll kill you.
Let's talk about Disneyland's 70th anniversary. I know nothing about Disneyland. I've never been there, but you guys talk about it for, let's say, 19 minutes. Go.
Yeah. And hey, if we have nothing for Disneyland, maybe we'll just talk about Disney World instead. Just
Oh
have
shit!
nothing
Was
to
that
do
what
with
we're,
Disneyland.
is that what we're
Why
going to
not?
eventually talk about?
I always forget if Disneyland and Disney World, which is which.
Land is West Coast.
California's doing new things.
Anaheim or whatever.
Okay.
is doing
Well,
a
I've
big
been
thing.
to that one more recently
Oh.
than the other one.
Do they both have the Star Wars Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge thing?
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I've never been, but like it's anybody who's gone as of recent or like as an adult or whatever, it's just an absolute horror story, like complete nightmare of just the worst possible thing. You're just trapped in there forever. And then, but even with that, then they'd be like, well, Galaxy's Edge was pretty cool. Like it's like the worst situation. They're like, that was pretty cool. Because then the Millennium Falcon's right there and it's massive. And so I was like,
Yeah, it's cool. I went last year and I'd never seen it. And yeah, it was very cool. It was neat. Like, you know, the ride, like the two of them, like my aunt like lives in Orlando and she like goes there every day and she's like, come on, let's go. She's like showing us around. She was really excited to take us on the Rise of the Resistance ride. And she's like, oh, wait, this isn't the Rise one. This is the one where you fly the Millennium Falcon. And I'm like, oh, no, the one I always wanted to do. And so we did that. And it's like, it's cool. You know, there is one issue that I will point out. And it's like sometimes a deliberate decision. But Jim Cummings is one of the most recognizable voices in animation. And he has played everyone, like Tigger and anyone who sounds like Tigger. And he is one of the guys in like the ride. He's practically voiced everyone on that park. And he also was like, oh no, like he plays like this guy who like I don't know, he like rents the Millennium Falcon to you or something. He's like, we got to get to the cargo before, Chewie finds out, something like that. But it's just Jim Cummings like yelling at you. And I'm like, this feels like I'm in a Tailspin cartoon. But the Rise of the Resistance was in like, you get in a thing and they put you in, you're supposed to get in like a shuttle. And so the room you're in is like moving around. And like, there's a Mon Calamarian who's like a puppet man who's like, hey, why keep it down back there? And then like screens are showing like, TIE fighters attacking you. And then when like the door opens up, you're on like a Star Destroyer. And the amount of space, like it just opens up into the deck of a Star Destroyer with like 100 stormtroopers in front of you. And my wife and I were like just, whoa. And they're not people, but like they're just mannequins, but a couple of them have like heads on pivots, so like they'll be turning and looking at you. So like it's just to add to the immersive. But it was really cool. There's an AT-AT like next to you, and I'm like, this. I was like overwhelmed, and like it smells like, I don't know, like the air has a kind of like thing in it, like that makes it smell like cleaner and more like like sterile. So it feels like you're in a different place. I was like, this is really impressive.
Wow. I was going to say, like, because the way you're describing, I couldn't tell. I thought it was like the screen opens up, like, because the ride part, I don't know how it's set up.
You don't even started the ride yet. What? No, you get into like a thing. They put you through this like for the Millennium Falcon. It's you fly, you get into a thing and you just pull levers and push buttons and just virtually no. You just whoa, it's cool, but there's no, the experience is like you get in when you're into the Millennium Falcon, you're like I'm inside the Millennium Falcon, and then you go to the cockpit, and there's like 17 cockpits in like a circle that you don't see, but with the Rise of Resistance, that's the one where you're like you get into a like they push you into a shuttle, and then that shuttle, I guess it takes you someplace or it just turns, I don't know, and then you come out and you go into the Star Destroyer. Like the idea is that the Empire has like captured you. Oh, and then you go down like this line, and the line is like a line, but because you're on a Star Destroyer, like you're going down a hallway, and so like there's stormtroopers and there's failed actors in Imperial uniforms being like, hey, stay in line,
fuck you,
like, yeah, and like you got smart alecky Star Wars nerds like talking back to them, and then you're like, just shut up, just enjoy the ride, but it's. That's really fun and immersive, and then you get into like a shuttle, and that one is like it's its own independently operated guy that like spins and like goes down a thing, and like it travels, and it's and then it drops. It's a whole thing. It's really cool.
Damn,
that's a really cool experience, and you're in Orlando, so it's effing hot when you get out, and you're like, this is cool, but like it's really fucking hot.
I want to go back. How long does it last? Like how long?
Oh man, I want to say it's like 6 or 7 minutes. Like it's a whole thing. I mean, like not from stem to stern. Like it's probably like a over 10-minute ordeal. 18 minutes according to the internet is how long Rise of the Resistance is.
Wow.
And it's fun. It's genuinely fun, and like it's not as thrilling as the Tron ride.
Are you on the light bikes?
Yeah.
Damn.
Unless you don't want to do that, in which case they have a special light chair that you could sit in.
A light chair.
Which is in the back. Like, there's rows of bikes, and then behind it is, like, a couple of, like, chairs.
Some people have to be in those chairs.
I know. The first thing I picture is like that more recent Tron, like it's all hyper cool looking. And
but one is just like
Punk's playing, and just somebody's just like in a lawn chair.
Just plaid comes out the back.
I love it. That's awesome.
Slow down.
Just like reclined in a lazy boy.
That's Tron. The light cycle is cool. Like
I love it.
That's the bit. I know, like that was the clip, but like telling you more about this bike, this ride. The bike is sick. Like it is shaped like a bike. You grab the thing, and then but like it goes upside down and outside and around corners. And my wife was like, "There's no effing way you're gonna have to put a gun to my head, get me on that thing. There's no way." And I was like, "Get out of my way!" Like, I was like, have you ever seen the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, there's a scene in that movie where like Tom Cruise's annoying son Robbie, he like separates from the group, and like there's just certain death over the hill, and he's like, I gotta go. I have to leave, Dad. I have to. That was me going to the Tron ride. I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to leave. And but you get on, and then like a thing like clamps you into, like it seals you into the bike, so you're like in the bike, and you could let go. Don't, but like you won't go anywhere, and
don't,
and then it fires you at like 60 miles per hour in like half a second. Just,
oh god,
and it was awesome. I was like,
that's so scary.
My wife was terrified because she definitely did it, and she was like, "That was the scariest experience of my life," and she really enjoyed it. But she was like, "That was scary as hell."
So scary.
Yeah,
I would be terrified.
it was awesome.
well.
It's definitely worth doing. Again, like I've never said thrilling like earnestly in my life, except they were like, "How was it?" I'm like, "Thrilling." They're like, "What are you, a shill now?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry.
I've never felt more alive. I don't care.
It was amazing." So yeah, Rise of the Resistance and Tron. There you go. And then you can, and it only costs you like $6,000 to go for the day.
I know, my God.
Yeah, not for the day, like for the week, but the day only costs you $2,000.
I don't know why. Because we never went on like vacations and stuff when I was a kid, and that was always like that was like the go-to for all my friends. Was like at some point they all went to like Disney World or whatever.
Yeah.
So I never really went. So I never really had like an interest to go. And then like as I was like an adult, like recently my sister and her husband took their daughter to Disney World. She's a princess maniac, like loves all like, you know, Mulan is like her favorite and everything. So it was just like a dream come true. It was like I felt so bad for all of them. And then like my brother and his wife live in Tampa, and like so they went to go meet them and stuff for the day too, and they're just telling me about that's like like everything, like the same, you know, complaints. It's just like 1 billion degrees, there's lines everywhere and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then like my niece was like she got like a crazy nosebleed out of nowhere, and then like she's like got sick and like throwing up, like all these things. It's just like the worst thing for like a little kid to happen to her.
Yeah.
So it's like a nightmare for her. She still loved it because she got to do all the amazing stuff, like looked like, got all dolled up like princess and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just like
bippity boppity boop.
Yeah, so it's just like the same thing, where it's just like all those like dreamlike moments, and then like you're put back outside again, and then you're like, oh God, yeah, 1 billion degrees.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that I'm
'Cause it
melting
is-
in between.
Yeah.
There are moments of magic, but also you're in Florida.
Yeah, that's the problem. We're actually looking to go to Florida in the next year to go to Disney, and also what's the other?
Universal.
The Universal. We'll spend 1 day at Universal and probably 3
I
days.
did that.
At,
My honeymoon
at Disney.
was Disney and Universal for 1 day.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
feel like
exactly
that's
what
the
you wanna
dream.
do.
You need 3 days at Disney, you need 1 day at Universal, and you're like, you don't need to do all the things.
Don't end it with Universal.
No. It'll
Like,
be
put
somewhere
Universal in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there
But
you
we're
go.
like trying to figure out when to go, and I think we're gonna go in February because we don't want it to be like January. We're originally saying like December, but it turns out like we thought like nobody would go but like Christmas time is a whole big thing, and we don't really care about Christmas that much, so we're like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah, we
Like,
went in Christmas time, and it was awesome. It is, if you are a Christmas spaz like me, then
We're like so with Christmas. We're 50-50 on if we're even going to put up a tree each year.
that's insane.
We're like, it's so much work. Also, cutting down a
What are you,
tree is a
Amish?
whole other thing. I need to go to a farm where it's like
Oh,
they're
you
going to
get the
plant a
fake
new one.
Just get
You
a
know.
fake one.
Yeah, we've had
I
a fake
don't-
one for like
I don't
a
want a
billion
fake one.
years.
Then we have to
Yeah, me
store
too.
it. No,
You
thank
put it
you.
in the garage.
It's like
Our
this
garage
big.
is full of shit. There's so
Yeah,
much.
and one of
we
that
don't have
piece
an
of shit
attic
is
or
your
a
tree.
basement, so everything goes in the garage or the shed, and we are
Yeah.
out of room. So sorry, Christmas.
Sorry, Christmas.
Sorry, Christmas. You're out.
My folks don't live far from me, so I have actually taken to just taking all of my shit and just leaving it at their house. Like this year, they went to Florida for like a couple of months, and I was like, "This is a perfect opportunity for me to take all of my Christmas decorations and just put them in my sister's old bedroom." And so her room just has 6 bins of Christmas stuff and our tree. And my parents have no idea.
Because
And
they
because
never
don't
go in
support
there.
what I do,
even
they'll
though
never
they got
know.
home.
They'll never see the show. They'll never hear about it. So
My parents they're like getting better. They're like crazy pack rats of just keeping stuff. And my dad is in construction and like a foreman for forever. So the stuff that he has, it's like, and he tries to like, he asks me all the time if like do you want this giant table saw? I'm like, Dad, first of all, I'm just going to
Dad, what am I gonna saw?
Yes, I want a giant table saw.
Right. I mean, I have like a miter saw. Like there's certain ones I'm like, we might use that. I've never used it ever.
yeah.
And then, but there's stuff that's just like, he has like they're cool looking. It's just like old vintage saws that are just like lining the walls of their basement. I'm like, she's like, well, somebody's going to want to earmark those when we go. I'm like,
Nobody wants
Not
them.
me.
Not me at all.
Give them
Or
to
like
me. I want them.
40-foot aluminum ladder. I'm like, I don't have any space. And it's just I can like tie it to the side of my house maybe.
Now, saws and ladders I can get behind.
Yeah.
Those I'll make space for.
Yeah.
That's what you worship.
Yeah. Tools. I want to fix stuff. I like fixing stuff.
I'll give your email to my dad.
Yeah. I went to Disneyland kind of recently. We went to like Cars Land, which was great.
Isn't Cars Land dope?
It was so fun. We went there first thing in the morning because we're like, it's the other side of the park and we wanted to get in the Cars ride before it got too busy, but it was packed. Like we went there first. It was already packed. We ran as fast as we could, barely stopped to get any snacks on the way.
Did you rope drop?
No.
That's what they do. That's what people do. They get up at 6 or 7 in the morning and they go there.
Oh,
so
right.
The official rope drop of the park, so you can go in as the park opens and be like, ladies and gentlemen,
we were like
you're
parking
insane!
while the rope drop happened. But like we did get in. We got in pretty early for us, but we're like, we're not going to go do first thing because we had 2 young kids. But it was fun with the 2 of them going around.
That's great.
The thing I like about California that I'm like worried about going to Disney World in the future is that like everything's very compact. You can hang out all day in one park and feel like, all right, I did the park. Like, I don't like, there's certain things that each person is not going to care about. And you'd be like, nah, I can skip that. I don't like, we actually do want to do Alice in Wonderland's like thing. That was pretty dope. It was great.
Yeah. You could do that in Disney World. The thing about Disneyland is it's just like it's in Anaheim. Like you have to cross the highway to get to one of the parks. Mm-hmm. Like you have to enter the real world like through a portal and then get to the other side of like Disney World or Disneyland again. With Disney World, they own that section of the state. So even when you want to leave, you're still there. You know, so like if you want to get to one park, like just get on the Sky Tram, like get on the gondola and just like look over the land and be hot in the sky. Like there's, you could take the monorail. It hasn't been updated since 1987, so it's like really fun. It's creaky.
It'll be the same that I remember it when I was a kid then.
Exactly. Because the literal last time that I had been there since like my honeymoon was 1989.
Yep. I think
I was like, boy, things have certainly changed around here.
Early 90s.
Yeah. There were Roger Rabbit exhibits when I was there.
Oh shit.
Which it's funny because there still kind of are, like they put them up and they left them there, like there's some remnants.
They're just like in the bushes, like what was
they're
that?
in the bushes. It's not
like
quite
the
as
DeLorean
like sad.
you found.
Like Universal is very much just like they ripped out the Jaws ride, but they left all the Jaws crap. So you're looking to get like a empanada, and you realize you're in like Amity Island, and you're like, but there's no shark, and you're like, so this just sucks. Like I'm just in Nantucket, like. That's hard. And meanwhile, over there is like Megatron going like, "Hey asshole, come over here and buy a baseball hat."
What is this? Where am I? What is happening?
Yeah, what is this like food court of a land? That's what Universal is.
I just imagine there's like just an animatronic metal piece with like no shark on it that comes out of the water and that goes to the test.
And then jank you back in.
That would be worth it. Although I don't know about you guys, like you would have the same experience, I think, because TV raised you guys too. But like when I was a kid, Disney World, stupid, lame, Mickey, but Universal, I could go see them shoot Salute Your Shorts. Like I could be on property for like Nickelodeon and stuff.
Yeah,
and then,
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I never went until it was pulled. So like I go and I'm like, I'm finally here, you guys. Like it's here. And they got rid of Back to the Future. They got rid of Terminator 2. They got rid of Jaws. And there's no Nickelodeon Studios.
So what's even left?
Well, AJ, you might be excited to find out that there is a Sunday Funnies World. So if you want to see Mother Goose and Grimm, 20 feet high, they got you covered. Hey,
so it's definitely not on my bucket list.
Are you a fan of Dr. Seuss? They got some Dr. Seuss cardboard cutouts for you to stand next to.
Ooh.
Or
Great.
do you remember Men in Black? There is a ride.
I do, and it was great.
inside and ride on. I never would.
You
but
can
it
see
was
one
there.
alien from Men in Black.
You could see an alien. You could ride the Simpsons ride, and it could be like a Simpsons joke where you imagine in The Simpsons, if you were to ride a ride at a theme park in The Simpsons, it's staffed by disaffected teenagers who hate the thing they're doing.
Yep.
It is. So it's kind of meta to go there.
This is great.
So you're like, this is great. And they're like, yeah, it's a magical world. Get the hell in line. And I'm like, yeah, you're like a surly Simpsons character. They're like, I was born in 2007.
Hey, Surly only cares about one guy.
Sorry, Surly.
Shut up.
Yeah, it is kind of like Duff World.
All right, so what was it, 30 years ago? 20 years ago.
20 years.
It's like 30. No.
Oh my God, sorry. I know. An amazing internet, I don't even know, what were we calling this? This is like the first sort of like gaming meme, I think. I really feel like was the first thing to kind of like blow up.
Yeah, like a viral meme.
Viral meme, yeah. Leroy
From
Jenkins.
gaming.
So I have the clip. We should be fine showing this. There's no
Yeah.
real thing. I made a shorter version of it and I also fixed the volume a little bit because
Oh, great.
it
'Cause
was
it does peak, yeah.
fucking brutal.
I will use intimidating shout so we don't have to fight a whole bunch of them at once. I think it's a pretty good plan, and we should be able to pull it off this time. What do you think, Abdul? Can you give me a number crunch real quick?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of
I forgot I
course,
put
percentage
honestly.
of survival.
Oh, that's a lot better than we usually do.
All right,
you
thumbs up.
ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Somebody just ran in.
Just stick to the plan.
Oh, Jesus. Let's go. Stick to the plan, Jones.
Stick to the plan.
Oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
God damn it, Leroy. Leroy.
Jimmer.
This is ridiculous.
I'm on it. Dumbass.
Not my fault.
Who's so stoned?
Great job, guys.
What's up? Sake. Leroy, you were just stupid as hell.
I had never heard of Leroy Jenkins, so it's just somebody.
What?
Yeah.
Just now?
Sorry,
Holy shit.
no.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
AJ's internet.
So it's just somebody
history is
yelling Leroy
hilarious.
Jenkins
That
as they
is Leroy Jenkins. He
run
has no
into.
name.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah.
character is Leroy Jenkins.
But like this becoming a thing for people to just yell Leroy Jenkins as they
Yeah.
run into danger.
Yes.
Yes.
Like Leroy Jenkins is like a battle cry for the stupid.
Yep. Ridiculous. So it's not crazy to me because it took me a while to learn that it was staged to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, yeah.
Yeah. Like they didn't like write it or whatever. They were like this was the plan. It was all
It was
really
being recorded. So
It was being recorded. Yeah. The idea behind it was like to get some more attention to like their server. Friends for Life, I think was the name of the thing.
Yeah.
And it was uploaded to warcraftmovies.com in 2005. And it just became like this massive, massive thing. And it's just like this insane life of its own. The thing I didn't really know about or care to learn about, I was just curious about it now, is the actual guy, like the person saying it and stuff. Ben Schultz. And it's just like him and his friends doing it and stuff. And I was more curious about what his like reaction was to becoming like famous, because it's not really like, it doesn't say Ben Schultz above it. It says Leroy Jenkins, and like he's not saying his own name and stuff. But it was like kind of like a weird spot, but it would make sense. Like it was for World of Warcraft, like Blizzard owns it and stuff. So they were trying to just like capitalize just like anybody would of like, this is insanely popular. Let's try to sell some merch or whatever. But like, you can't put World of Warcraft on there. They ended up putting just Ben's face on there, and they're like, that didn't sell. Like, why would that sell? They don't know what you look like. That wouldn't make any sense. Blizzard, they incorporated Leroy Jenkins like into their games and stuff. Like he's an
NPC now.
Yeah, well, he's like a playable character, and they had him saying like they had another actor saying like Leroy Jenkins and like some of the other things, and Ben Schultz ended up reaching out to them, and he got to like re-record that voice. So it was his voice in the like Hearthstone and stuff. I think it was in those games they invited him out to BlizzCon, like their big convention and stuff, where he would just say that on stage or whatever to like a big crowd. He got invited to the World of Warcraft movie premiere, and I guess like an early draft of it, they had a character, like a human character named Jenkins, and he ran into battle like early and got killed right away, like in the first draft of the script, but they cut that. It never made it into the movie. They cut it like almost immediately, I guess. But just like a weird, funny, early version of like a meme thing, and there just wasn't a roadmap for. He did pretty well for not having a roadmap of like how to capitalize off of something, you know, like a unintentional fame kind of thing. Where now, if it's like, you know, compared to like the Hawk Tuah girl, she's got it's just like it's a template that you can just do like to try to capitalize off that as fast as possible, staged or not or whatever, just the way it was like executed and just like the perfect timing of him running in. They're like, God damn it.
I wish I knew about it.
All up.
I mean, I would have, there are many things that I do to ruin scenarios, and had I known about it, I would be yelling Leroy Jenkins all the time. So now I'll incorporate that into my vernacular.
AJ uses a different internet. It's been established that whatever access AJ has
Strange
is just
internet.
different. Yeah,
Well, it's an interdimensional Ethernet cable that she has.
You bought it like in the same shop that like you buy a Mogwai.
Yep.
It's like this old Chinese dude sold you cursed. It's the whatever it was, whatever we were saying before, 40 years, 30 years, 800 years,
Yeah.
30 of Who Shot Mr. Burns. It was, I think, 97. I had it written down.
95.
95.
It's 30
Yeah.
years.
Thank you. So it was
30 years yesterday, as of our recording.
Oh yeah, a 2-part episode. All right, cliffhanger at the end of season 6. Mr. Burns, spoiler, gets shot, and
Spoiler alerts.
yeah, the whole thing is set up as like a whodunit. That was such like a big fucking deal. That was so great.
Yeah.
Like so much precautions and everything was done for it. Where like to try and prevent leaks.
Wasn't there a contest around like who could guess
Yep.
who the actual murderer was? And
Yep.
didn't like only 2 people win?
There was one
2 people
guy
guessed correctly.
who used like a algorithm or whatever it was to try and guess, and they correctly got Maggie, but they didn't submit the thing correctly, like on a postcard, so he got disqualified. The prize was going to be animated into like a future episode. So from what I read or what I remember too, like nobody actually got it, I think.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, nobody got it. They never did it. I remember in the audio commentary for that episode, one of the guys was talking about how like they saw it on a message board. Like somebody guessed it right on like a fledgling 1995 Simpsons news group.
Right.
And they were like, there was no way to contact him. So that was it. Like, so we just quietly never did anything with it again. I think it was also in conjunction with like 1-800-COLLECT or something like that. Like you could enter yourself to win by using 1-800-COLLECT, which of course, if you remember that one.
Holy shit, yeah.
Save $1 or $2.
Wow.
1-800-COLLECT.
Holy crap. Totally forgot that existed until now.
Yeah. Also the first 2-part episode of the show.
Oh, wow. Was it? Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of a big
I had
deal.
never committed an episode more to memory than that at the time, because I watched the first part the whole, like for the because it was a season finale.
Yep.
And I watched so much, like just to try and find who shot Mr. Like try to put together the clues. Like everyone else, I thought it was Smithers because like it was deliberately set up to make you think that it was Smithers.
Like at the end where everybody thought it was Whalen, you know, and like they put that in there too. Like, you know, it's.
Yeah, they animated a whole like alternate ending or reveal of multiple characters, including Whalen, but they actually animated another ending, which was Smithers was the shooter.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to find some like Easter eggs that aren't just like public knowledge for everybody, pretty much. But
here's one off the top of my dome:
Yeah.
the scene from Who Shot Mr. Burns when they close Moe's bar, and the chemical people come in and they're like, "Man alive, there are men alive in here. On the TV in Moe's bar, they're watching Comedy Central, and they are watching Pardon My Zinger, and there are commercials for Mystery Science Theater 3000 on the TV in there.
That's fun.
There you go.
Just little tidbits there.
Like
There you
live
go.
action?
There's a little trivia. No. It was animated. Like it was just. But
That's hilarious.
They drew Comedy Central in there, because back in '95, MST3K was on Comedy Central before Sci-Fi, and it's because they wanted to make a reference to to Comedy Central later in the second episode. It's like, so I spend my days drinking cheap scotch and watching Comedy Central. Oh dear God. I've never seen a single episode of Pardon My Zinger, but I assume it's a show on Comedy Central. It's like a Whose Line Is It Anyway or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pardon My Zinger. I assume it's from like the 30s.
I don't know. I
Cheerio.
assume it's like
Pardon My Zinger.
the first thing is the Simpsons wiki, where it's like, Pardon My Zinger is a television program aired on weekdays at 3 p.m. on Comedy Central in Springfield, and was one of the sources that Krusty the Clown plagiarized his jokes from. That's right. It's all made up. What's the difference?
You know how we were talking about before, they made like they animated alternate endings and stuff to try and hide leaks and everything like that. And one of them was any kind of clue heavy scene in production. They shifted those to later in production to prevent leaks as well. So like the amount of like extra planning for any of that kind of stuff is great. Cause like, you do that a bit in any production, any animation production anyway. It's like this scene's is heavier with a lot of action or a lot of like crowds or whatever. So let's start that earlier so that we have more time to produce it anyway.
Yeah.
But like to figure out, to have that separate conversation about like, well, this one is pretty pivotal to the whole mystery, or it's got a bunch of clues in there. So let's make sure we shift that last, or like, let's write and keep secret these alternate endings and like, but don't tell anybody which is the correct one. I don't know. All these crazy things.
I know.
I love it.
I have had a Simpsons podcast in my back pocket for 20 years. like
Now's the time.
Being at like the lunchroom in high school, just talking about the Simpsons with people, I'm like, there's got to be a way to monetize this, right? Like, there's no way. There's never going to be a place where I could just sit down and talk into a microphone and just make the same jokes I've been making right now, right?
I think I told you, like in high school, it was me and like one or two other friends. We're same thing, just quoting it all the time, just kind of just burned in our memory. And one of our other friends who wasn't into The Simpsons as much, like, was joking. There's like 90% of what you guys say is Simpsons quotes, and just defensive first. I was like, no, and I was like, actually,
you're right.
Yeah,
that's accurate.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like The Simpsons, and so it's a madhouse for her.
She just quoting Bayonetta all the time. Then?
She would if Bayonetta said anything. I mean, as far as I know, she says something.
Yeah.
Probably just makes orgasm sounds, as far as I'm concerned.
From the parts that I've saw it, it's like Sex and the City level, like sex puns that Bayonetta says.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little better than Sex and the City.
Probably a little bit. Yeah.
I don't care for Sex and the City. I think Carrie Bradshaw's the villain of that show. She's a very selfish person.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. She's terrible to all her friends.
She's terrible to everyone.
Yep.
And then she's like, well, I finally met a guy, and I cheated on him.
You could be allowed to
And
be
I'm gonna write
terrible
about
to
it.
everyone, but you shouldn't be terrible to your friends. Like,
Right.
those are the people you're choosing to keep around.
Yeah. Even Seinfeld did that. They were like, everyone else sucks.
We're gonna end it on everyone else sucks.
Everyone else sucks.
Is that? No, wait. Hang on. Let me look at the list. Pee-wee has a documentary coming out.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just last night, Holly had on like the when he did the Broadway show. I was like, oh man, it was so great just to like.
I watched that too.
Yeah.
It was on like HBO or something, right?
Mhm.
Like it was this
Yeah.
rebroadcast of it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I should have
What was it?
gone.
I need to check that out.
It's the Pee Wee Herman show on Broadway.
Yeah.
And it is basically Pee Wee's Playhouse, but a stage show.
Yep.
So like Cherry and Terry and Miss Yvonne and everybody are in that. Unfortunately, Lawrence Fishburne does not reprise his role as Cowboy Curtis. Get a new Cowboy Curtis.
It's what's his face?
Oh, is it Phil?
Yeah, Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's not bad.
No, all right. I remember seeing Lawrence Fishburne talk about that. They asked him, like, you can come back for the Broadway show? And he's like, if Pee-wee wants to make a Pee-wee's Playhouse movie, I'll be Cowboy Curtis.
Aw.
But I'm not going to do a Broadway show.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to put the horrible costume, I'm not doing the Jerry curl again for a stage show. And I'm like, that's fair.
Fair.
All right,
Very
you know what? You're Lawrence Fishburne. You don't need to do Cowboy Curtis. If you're willing to do it at all, I applaud you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would have very much liked a Pee-wee's Playhouse movie. Man, can you imagine growing up on Pee-wee's Playhouse and then seeing the Tim Burton movie and going, where's the Playhouse? Where is everyone?
Yeah.
What is this movie?
I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse in like the Saturday morning lineup that it was, because it was the last thing. It was like a clear marker of like, all right, it's going to be like the news after this or whatever.
Soul Train.
Yeah, Soul Train. Yeah. The best I could hope for was like, what's his face? Jack whatever's animal thing. I'm like, all right, it's like I can like ease into the rest of the day for that. But it was like, when that was on, the worst was like there were some days that where it wasn't on. So I'm expecting it to come on like after Garfield and Friends or whatever was on at that moment. And then it would just jump into like the news. I'm like, no, there's no Pee-wee. Where's Pee-wee? Like it just wasn't like consistent for some reason for some of me, but like I love that show so much. It was so fucking weird and so much that I just didn't get as a kid.
There's so much fun stuff.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yep. It may have one of the best Christmas specials of all time. Like TV Christmas specials. If when we do our holiday episode of this show,
I'll make a note.
I thought we were just going to watch Alf again.
We are not going to be watching Alf ever again, especially the Christmas episode. That downer. I didn't see it
Christmas.
either. All right, I watched it. I was like, "This is a real weird bummer."
I loved it. It was so
Such a
perfectly
weird
fucking
bummer.
weird.
My wife was so mad at me. I'm like, "Let's watch." She's like, "Okay," and then just like 2 minutes in, I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, "No way." Oh no! How long is 45 minutes? No, Pee-wee's is it's a Christmas special. Like Santa's in it. He learns a lesson. There's 20 minutes of him just saying who's going to be on the special. It's awesome. And the theme will get stuck in your head forever. It is so great.
Oh, man.
I have it on Blu-ray. That's how much I love that special.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. Oh, no. AJ,
So you're
and Sal
inviting us
Crivelli,
over to watch it with you.
dude.
Making
yes.
a note. We're
We
coming
should-
over in December.
In August, we should shoot our holiday special. We should just go to a location and like film a whole thing.
Oh my God.
We learn a very valuable lesson. Santa shows up. The whole thing.
Heck
And then
yes.
both people who like this show will watch it. And- I'm sorry. I don't mean. Because I don't know who that's for besides us.
I know, seriously. Yeah. I would
fair.
fucking love it. I love it.
Right? Are you kidding me? 'Cause I used to do that. Like with me and my friends, we used to make Christmas specials for our lives and put it on the internet.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Holy
so send me those links.
Yes.
I release them every
I need
year.
to
I'm like,
watch them.
like, here's this embarrassing assortment of me and my friends just like getting into adventures.
Please,
For Christmas
can we
time.
link those below?
We may not. You may watch them for yourself,
All
but
right.
I'm not going to subject the Dorkly audience to that.
Oh my God. It's so
It's
great.
bad. It's shameless and bad enough that I do it to my own audience.
So it's the
oh.
documentary. It's like a 2-part. Wait, is it 2-part? Or am I making that part up?
I think it's 2. Yeah, I think you're right, but I don't know.
The Pee-wee as himself?
Yeah.
I think it's a one-parter.
Okay.
It's just a full. Yeah.
Oh, great! Just a
It's
movie.
it comes out tomorrow. So if you're watching this, go check it out, and we're going to talk about it next week.
All right, folks. That's it for this week. This was a lot of. This episode was all over the place.
This is Marge's makeup shotgun of an episode. Blam. Topics.
Dorkly audience will like what I tell them to like.
Come on, Tails, do a little joke.
Yeah.
Say frying and buying.
It's
Oh
Knuckles.
shit. Oh my God.
You're right. I did it on purpose.
Yeah,
I was
I know,
like,
yeah.
let me say the wrong character. At least you're going to make fun of me. At least with that fucking character right.
You guys got anything you want to plug?
Check out this show, guys.
Yeah.
Subscribe
this
and like the
show.
video.
I don't know.
Tell your
Yeah, if
friends
you like it
about
on-
us.
Yeah. You don't fill your ear holes with it. You can always check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating. Helps us out. And tell your friends.
Tell everybody.
Friends. Tell all
Tell
your
your-
friends.
Tell your parents. They won't care, but tell them.
Tell your grandparents. They're really going to like it.
I have one stormtrooper too.
Hit me.
Alright. An Imperial stormtrooper is usually about 5'11" average, give or take. But a metric stormtrooper is 180 centimeters. It's actually a math joke disguised
That's a Star Wars.
as a Star Wars joke.
That's very true.